Hello, and welcome to video number 3 out of 5, where we're looking at the top challenges that financial advisors face these days. And I invited Bill Fairchild to come today because he is one of the people that raised this challenge, and it's an important one for all of us. So I want to hear how do you want to articulate the challenge?
The challenge is the age-old question: how do I reliably find qualified prospects?
Right, great. That is right central, and I love that you, in particular, that you said reliably find them, because there are lots of ways that you could, go force somebody, or you could spend a lot of money on something like mailers, or you could throw a big party and ask your clients to bring their friends. These are sort of flash in the pan ways to meet new people, and it's not as sustainable because there isn't as much relationship there. And they could easily disappear. Or some people use the computer and their website to try and attract people through search engine optimization. Again, not as reliable because the connection, the human connection, isn't there.
Yeah, and I've tried a few of those ways that you just mentioned, and they just don't seem to be reliable or sustainable.
Well, yeah, so, they cost more. I used to work with a guy who had this chart that he showed in seminars that showed that it was like an upside down pyramid. The more money you spend, the fewer clients, the fewer prospects actually show up to some of these methods. So you want to get the right balance. And just talking to people your allies, doesn't cost a thing.
Okay, that makes total sense. So how does this ally technique or method really work?
Well, it's about creating a context like you and I have created here today, where you can just sit down with somebody and get to know them better. That's really so. You might need to invite them because you don't generally have time to sit down together to go to Starbucks or something, or you might catch them on the fly, and mowing the lawn, so you go over and talk to them. But the point is, you want to invite them to sit down and get to know each other a little bit better.
That seems very simple. How do I know really which people I should use this with?
Well, in a certain sense, you just know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know who you can work with and why. But if you want to systematize it, you could really just go through all of your contacts, right? The roster of people that at the Rotary. The directory of people that go to your church that comes out at Christmas time, your database at your business, your own personal address book. Go through all those contacts and give 3 points to everybody that you really just genuinely you like their company, and 2 points to the people who you trust in a business way. Those are not necessarily the same people. There are lots of people I love to have fun with, but I don't really trust them. And vice versa, some people I trust with my life who are not all that fun. So, right? There are two different criteria. And finally, give 1 point to anybody who they represent a sphere of influence. Like they know lots of people, right? That's worth a point, because you're not going to get many referrals from somebody who spends all their time alone watching Netflix.
That totally makes sense. So what does this conversation actually look like?
The conversation. Thank you. Right. Well, it has 4 important parts. And the first part is where you really establish that friendship, Take it to the next level, in fact. Ask them that thing that you've been wanting to ask, that you've been avoiding asking, so that you're better related then. Ask them a personal question about yourself. Tell them why you like them. Like, Bill, I wanted you to be in this video because I just noticed that whenever you show up at the men's group, joy shows up. It's
Thank you.
exactly right. So share these things with them. Get better related. That's the first part. The second part of the conversation is where you tell them what you're up to, what your goal is. Maybe it's I want to make twice as much money as I did last year. That's why I'm coming. That's what I want to tell you about, Mr. Ally. Or it could be, that you want to be the top producer in your firm. Or it could be more of a personal goal, like I want to make sure that I'm able to send all my kids to college. So you share with them what it is that's behind your wanting to have this conversation, your goal. Third part is that you ask for feedback, right? You're my ally. Here's why I like you. Here's what I'm up to. What do you think? Can I do it? If I got what it takes? Mm-hmm. If not, what do you think I need to improve on so that I can really pull this off? Also ask them for feedback of the sort, that where are you going to find prospects? You could say, like, for example, do a turnaround. If you were in my shoes, get them to think from your point of view. If you were in my shoes, who would you be talking to? Where would you go? Right? But definitely ask for feedback of the sort, like, if you know of people that they know that you want to meet, what's it going to take to get us to sit down together?
That really makes sense, and I can see that would actually cascade introductions and make it more natural and simple.
It really does. It really does.
But you mentioned 4 ways.
Yes. And by the way, all of this is outlined in detail in my book, Listen to You Disappear. And the 4th way is that you want to keep track. Keep a chart of the vital information that you're collecting as you talk to these people. And you get to decide what that is, but there's some suggestions here on page 107 in my book. And that way that's your pipeline. That list becomes your pipeline. And you've got all the information you need there. Next steps, particular issues that they have that you want to address, when their birthday is, all of that goes in this chart. That's the 4th piece.
That sounds great. And it sounds to me like if we really are friends, we should probably be in business together.
Exactly.
If I trust him, why would I not want to be in business with him?
Right, exactly, yeah. And see him do well.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what we want for the world around us, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, Doc, for taking the time to sit down and talk to me about this.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, the one thing that I noticed that's worth saying in closing here is that you got to go about it in a totally committed way, and that joy of yours is part of what has me be committed to you, because I want to promote that, and your people are going to want to promote what you bring to the room when you walk in. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to sign up or everybody's going to want to give you referrals, but you give your all to each person and then make it totally okay if they want to go their own way. So you're committed and unattached at the same time. And that's how we were here today.
Awesome. Thanks again.
You're welcome.